Warning: heavy spoilers for Sakamoto Days Season 1 Episode 2, you have been warned. This one is an odd episode. It adapts Chapter 2, skips Chapter 3, but adapts Chapters 4 and 5. I did take a quick glance at Chapter 3 and it looks like this chapter may be adapted in the next episode, possibly. I think I might have spoiled myself with Chapter 3, as I am indeed an anime only, but it is what it is. The episode starts off with Shin being a super fan towards Sakamoto, praising how he was able to Control-Alt-Delete the previous villains in episode 1, and Sakamoto's wife is not happy at all. I love how Sakamoto starts to fear that his wife is getting angry at the very thought of him being a hitman again. It's honestly the first time I've actually seen her this mad, threatening to divorce him if he goes back into being a hitman. Of course, we do find out why she's like this later on, but at the time I was like, damn, the dude is doing all this to protect you. And I love how she goes from being incredibly mad at him to being super sweet and kind and lovey-dovey, almost like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of situation with his wife. That entire scene was from Chapter 2, the first few pages of it, as the rest of Chapter 2 and all of Chapter 3 is a sort of mini arc that doesn't actually take place in this episode. Maybe the anime will adapt the rest of Chapter 2 and all of Chapter 3 in next week's episode, but the moment Sakamoto and Shin arrive at Nikita Town all the way until the end of the episode is all of Chapter 4 and 5. This guy is such a softie. Even though he was a dangerous hitman, he still thinks about his wife and kid. What a good boy you are, Sakamoto. But just before Shin can get an answer from Sakamoto about the family rule, a new character comes into scene in dramatic fashion. I mean, what a way to introduce a new character as part of the Sakamoto team. The moment she jumped out of that building, I was like, oh, this girl is quite feisty, but she also has a past at the same time. Typical Shonen Jump anime. But because of that, she accidentally knocked over the pork buns. How could you? Black Leg Sanji would not be happy by this at all. The mystery girl, who's called Lou, who looks like she just jumped out of a fairy tale episode, is running away from a bunch of men in suits, and she uses Tai Chi and she's quite good at it. Even I was impressed by what she was able to do. But of course, Sakamoto and Shin, being the good Samaritans they are, defend the girl, but Lou does not need defending. She don't need no man saving her. Very woke, very demure, a strong, independent woman. I do love some of these slow-mo shots they do when they attack a character, but these men seem to be like anime torrent sites. You take one out, but another one pops up, and a whole bunch of them are charging after the three of them now. Honestly, Sakamoto and Shin, what did you guys get yourself into? You could have just walked away and mind your own business, but no, you had to be the good boys. Some of the men go back to their main boss, the CEO of Dan Inc., who looks like a 40-year-old version of Marlowe from Attack on Titan. Old man Marlowe reveals that he killed her entire clan, all in order to track her down. This dude is a douche. He is horrible. He is vile. He is scum. Yes, I will admit his men aren't entirely innocent either, but the way he treats them, foul, dude. But even he looks like a tamed little boy compared to these two absolute monsters, slicing the dude up like cutting carrots on a Sunday night. Sun Hee and Bacho are incredibly vile brothers that even the CEO of Dan is intimidated by them. CEO Marlowe reveals that they need the key from the girl, and I can see why these guys are desperate to get that key, because when we see what that key unlocked, oh my gosh, that girl was loaded. No surprise, but that girl is the daughter of a mafia family, and the way Shin talks about this family, it looks like this family is the big deal of this city, which explains Lou's incredible Tai Chi. I do respect Shin, even though he doesn't quite know this girl, saying that the key is not risking her life. It's truly nice to say, but she does not agree because that key is her life. Her mom and dad protected her and sacrificed their lives to protect this key. We have a quick flashback to the past, and oh my gosh, what the heck happened? There's a fire in the street. Her dad looks like he just came out of a John Wick film, and her mother is quite mysterious. We don't see her face. Ooh, I bet she's gonna come back somehow in the plot. Mr. Sakamoto allows her to stay with them, but before they can say anything more, the punks from the Den organization come in, kicking the crap out of Sakamoto. If this man was an ordinary dude, he would be DEAD. I was quite mixed on this shot of the two brothers just posing the way they did. It looks cool, but it's also kind of cringe, as you see those poses in so many certain animes and shonen. But whether or not they're cool or cringe, these guys are one thing and one thing only: absolutely terrifying monsters, destroying people and finding joy out of doing it, mate. And then to draw the heads of their victims, what type of sick individuals are they? They need therapy, they need help. Of course, Mr. Sakamoto is not down for the count. out, comes back into action, smacking one of the brothers into the ground, shocking Lou. Man, the brothers are absolute scumbags, absolutely mocking the girl about what he did to her parents. But it's so predictable. I can see this from a mile away. The girl's gonna get angry, she's gonna charge at him, and then Sakamoto's gonna block her. Just typical anime stuff. But the girl is so confused. Why is Sakamoto protecting her? He don't even know her. Then we get a flashback. A flashback with some beautiful lighting. We see Sakamoto just after doing a hitman job, come and meet his wife, presenting her with a gift, and she's like, I don't want it, I don't want it. This lady is not into the whole hitman life. At this point, I thought she was a bit selfish because didn't she know what she was getting herself into? My gosh, the fact that she had to guilt trip him into saving her by jumping off the balcony was honestly kind of insane, dude. But of course, his love for her, he was gonna save her regardless. The scene's kind of romantic with the beautiful lighting and the music, making the promise to not kill anyone ever again as a way for him to repent for all of the lives he took. We cut back into the present and Sakamoto fights the two douche brothers. I thought some of the animation was pretty good, but it wasn't as good as last week's episode. I think some moments lack that fluidity that the first episode had. It's just a little bit of a nitpick, but the scenes that were good were absolutely insane. I mean, Sakamoto went crazy on the two Barker brothers. I mean, throwing that oven onto him, that is just dirty work right there, Sakamoto. Well done. But of course, he has not killed them, just knocked them out. But honestly, if they were two ordinary men, they wouldn't even be alive, mate. We cut to the CEO looking like a little wee kid, terrified of the three of them, and even though Lou is incredibly mad at the CEO of Den for doing what he did to her parents, she won't kill him, but just knock the crap out of him. I do like the line of, you shouldn't kill everyone who upsets you, but just try and live a happy, long life. If only people lived like that in the real world and didn't seek out revenge and hatred towards others, maybe this world wouldn't be such a bad place at all. We see the room of riches and gold, the three of them start to like one another, and the episode ends. And then we have a post-credit scene of Sakamoto telling the family rule to Shin of not killing. Because this episode actually cut out an entire chapter and a half worth of content, it's a little bit different, as Lou is not present in the manga at all, because that chapter took place before they met Lou. All of the flashbacks and this entire scene of Sakamoto and Shin all happened in chapter 2 before chapters 4 and 5, which introduced Lou. But the final scene of the episode, this mysterious board man of people talking about Sakamoto, who has a pretty hefty bounty. Ooh, who are these guys? Are they gonna be the main organization threat for this season? Who knows? We just gotta wait and see. Overall, this episode was pretty damn good. I do feel like, just like with the previous episodes, some of the manga panels just had a little bit of that intensity to them. But yeah, like the episode, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. What do you think of this episode? Tell me. Like this video, subscribe for more Sakamoto videos, as well as other anime news updates, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings, and more. But thank you for watching, and as always, a boy do the view, signing out.